Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank y'all for coming in on this beautiful, cold morning in Louisiana. Hey, just wanted to, Kathy had asked me to do this meeting, and she asked me to do some training, and I said, yeah, I want to do responsible sponsorship. So we're going to go through some things today, and I'll show you some of the slides that I use. But I wanted to make sure you guys knew a little bit about my story, because your story is the most powerful tool that you have in your toolbox. And, when you tell your story to other agents, and, it's more believable than telling somebody else's story. So most of you, I have met most of you, and some people I haven't met and been involved in your sponsorship or attraction to EXP. But the people who have come through that I've spoken to, they've actually heard my story. Your story is the most personal and the most important thing that you can talk about to people, because it is your motivation of why you came to EXP Realty. So I wanted to share my story with you so you can hear me tell it, and then that way, you can see what I do when I'm actually attracting other agents. And then we're going to go through our talking points and really try to dive into some key things that you can do to hopefully help you become more successful when you have an opportunity to talk to an agent. So here we go. And I was at the local board a little over 2 years ago, I guess probably 27 months ago, and I saw Ricky and Kenneth sitting there, and of course we were eating and waiting for the meeting to start, and they didn't say too much. And there was only like maybe 4 or 5 people, I guess, in the state at that time, which was all in Lafayette, by the way. So, Ricky called me 2 days later after seeing him at the meeting, and I realized that we had been in the military together locally, and I'd been gone for 20 years. I lived in Georgia. So I came back 7, 8 years ago, and I ran into Ricky at this point in time. And so he called me and kind of gave me, a brief description about why or what EXP was doing here locally, and asked if we could meet. And it was like textbook. And he didn't know yet. I'm pretty sure he had been with the company 6 months, I guess, but he didn't exactly know that this is how he would develop the state, the entire state and other states. So, he was driving to his camp, and I guess he had a 3 or 4 hour drive. And I said, Ricky, I'm really happy at my brokerage, and that was about 85% accurate, right? Because I had that 15% in the back of my mind that I wasn't happy. And so Ricky says, look, I just want to talk to you. I know you're happy and everything, but at least put it on the radar. It's going to be something I think really good for agents. So I said, okay, I tell you what, that's fair. I know you, Ricky. We did military. I trust you. Give me the websites where I can do some research while you're hunting. And it was on a Friday afternoon. So I bet I called Ricky back 3 times on the way up there and had questions for him. So what we did is I opened up an Excel sheet, and I started running my previous numbers from the previous year. And I really looked hard at, the different fees that I was paying to my other brokerage. And then I looked at what I thought EXP was paying, because based on what Ricky had told me. And of course, again, I had not been through the presentation at that point in time. So I ran the numbers through an Excel sheet, and I had to bring my wife in, and I said, check these formulas and tell me if I'm doing this correctly, because I want this to calculate outright and not be misled. And she checked everything for me, and she says, Kirk, are you crazy? She said, this is a slam dunk. She said, this is the way the world is going. She works for a Fortune 50 company as an engineer, and she said, this is how we operate globally. And I said, really? She goes, yeah, this is a big deal. And so, that when I had her on board, it was all about me making the right decision. I had left quite a bit of money on the table based on last year's numbers, and the numbers, my last year numbers with EXP, the way I ran them. Now, I wasn't exactly, I didn't have all the fees in there, but I did have it pretty close. So when Ricky came in, we went over the numbers and everything. So, it took me 5 days, but I'm going to tell you something. The reason it took me 5 days is because I was sold on it based on a couple of things. But I want you to understand that the importance about my story is the fact that what was important to me may not be important to you and may have not been important to Kenneth or Ricky while they brought EXP to the state. And my deal was the fact that I could not get over the fact from the day I signed on with my broker that they asked me for a 6% royalty fee, franchise fee, whatever you call it. And it was just taken off the top of my gross commission. And I didn't like that because I didn't understand what they were getting for that 6%. So, on a $10,000 commission gross, you were getting $600, and then I was getting my 70-30 or 65-35, whatever your breakdown was, and that's what mine was. It was a 70-30. So, I got one of my biggest commission checks not a month before Ricky and I hooked up. And I said, and my wife asked me, how much money did you put in the bank after we closed? And I told her, and she goes, oh my God, you took like $30-something $100 from you, or like, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000. And I was like, yeah, I know, but it's still, it was a $420,000 transaction. And I was like, she goes, that's a lot of money. Okay, so fast forward to having talked and met with Kenneth at the RAA and then a phone conversation with Ricky. And that was my motivation. And the reason I wanted to tell you that is because everybody has a situation similar. It may not be about the commission. It could potentially be about the training, the education, how they do their meetings. Could be that the mentor promised them certain things and all they do is feel like they're giving the mentor 25-30% off of each transaction. So, your story is genuine. Your story is the passion behind why you came. Don't feel bad about sharing that with people that ask about EXP. So, again, I've been with EXP a little over 2 years, and I'm one of the first adopters, like there are some of the people in the room. And I think we had 690 agents when I first came in. And right now, today, as of 1/17, I think we're a little over 6,500 nationwide. We were in 36 states when I started. Today, we're in, I want to say, 46, 47 states, including Canada. And so let's jump right in. Wanted to share my story with you, and hopefully you guys did pick up on something from that. So, responsible agent attraction, I wanted to teach this because I feel like there is a pretty good need for people fully understanding what's expected at EXP when you're talking about the model. And, we don't want to spew EXP information and the model over people unless we know that the people are ready for that. And I'm going to teach you today and give you some key pointers that will hopefully teach you how to go about getting to the meeting. All right? So let's get started. So when you're in a conversation, you're in a deal with someone, another agent from another brokerage, you need to look for signs that an agent is unsettled or unhappy at their current brokerage. Conversation without talking about EXP. More about real estate than about EXP. So in these conversations, you're just talking about real estate and you're gathering information about them. And that's the most effective way to get your message across, because it's going to happen. Trust me, it's happened to me many, many times over and over, and it's happened to you. You just don't know it, or you did capitalize on it. But if they mention pay scale, lack of training, the lack of leads, they may not like the commission structure or the franchise fee. One thing they're going to ask you, especially in a local market like Lafayette, and a lot of us in the state of Louisiana in small markets, are going to ask you, why did you leave ABC Realty, Kirk? And then what are we going to say? How are we going to respond? So 90% of how we live our life is how you respond to certain things, whether it be negative or whether it be positive things, right? Even in our personal life and our family life. So you have to have an elevator pitch for that. So are you prepared? And I want to give you some things today that will prepare you for that. So your elevator pitch on the EXP model, and look, you only may have one shot to do this because you're going to catch somebody at the right time, and you're going to be able to articulate to them what it means to you to be at EXP. You just have to be ready for it. So here's a few things that I felt that might help you out. Not all of them will work for everybody, but at least you'll maybe pick up one or two things that you can put into your toolbox. So your answer to what is EXP about, or what do you like about EXP? Now I want you to think about that for a minute. What is your answer to what is EXP about, or what do you like about EXP? Okay? And of course, you still are going to get that conversation and that question, why did you leave ABC Realty? So my answer, and these are some points I wrote down, and it just depends on how much time I have and the situation I'm in. The opportunity for retirement in real estate, revenue share, passive income, stock ownership in a startup brokerage, technology platform, weekly education and tools to grow. We're cloud-based. I get to work from home. EXP gives me the ability to express my entrepreneurial spirit. It's agents helping agents. It's exactly what I'm doing today. Agents helping agents. Higher or high commission splits. I now have an exit strategy. Leave them with a little tidbit to want more. Again, don't spew EXP all over them. Have a really, really good conversation back and forth. Listen really well. Listen for opportunities to jump in and express the what interest they may have in EXP. We have and are attracting top producers across the country. There's no franchise fees, and it's agents helping agents succeed through collaboration. We have a lead generation and a CRM. Now, if you take some of those things and you filter those things into a conversation, it is very important that you feel the passion and are genuine in delivering this, because they don't want to be sold on anything. They don't want to be recruited, but they want to be attracted, right? So from here on out, maybe we should change our verbiage to, are we recruiting people, or are we trying to attract people? So I've taken on the approach of wanting to attract people. The funny thing about it, and somebody said it in EXP before, the first thing I would do is, if I was looking for a job in the corporate world, is find me a recruiter. Now let's think about that. You don't want to be recruited in our industry, and you don't want to recruit in our industry. Some people don't. There's a reason you guys are here today watching this video or listening, just simply because you have a desire to do that, because you see a need to do that. You understand what the exit strategy is the fact that recruiting is becoming a negative term. Now, it's not something we brought to the real estate business world. This term has been around for years, even in real estate. So let's change how we do things, and this is why I'm doing this today, and I'll be glad to do more of them. But we want to continue to give off a good vibe about our company, and that's right. It's our company. This is your company. You own stock in this company. You should have pride in the way you deliver the EXP model and the message that we stand for. So your elevator pitch should be Short, sweet, to the point, and you're not trying to set an appointment. Now, if you see an opening for an explanation of the model, then that's when you'll set the appointment. So let's talk about how do you open up dialogue about EXP, because we just talked about, what is your answer, what is EXP, and what is EXP about? But let's say that you just have a general conversation. How would you open up that dialogue? How would you get started in that? And that's where people get stuck. Mostly, that's what I hear mostly. How do you get to the conversation, Kirk? How do you do that? Well, here's what I suggest. And, there are some questions here that I usually will either learn or I'll ask. And again, I'm going to give them to you in a row, but this may be something that occurs during many conversations while you're in a deal with someone, perhaps. So how long have you been selling real estate? How long have you been with ABC Brokerage? Do you go to an office for meetings? Is your training at a local office, a brick and mortar? What type of training does your broker invest in for agents and the technology that is offered? Have you actually sat down with someone to explore the model to learn more about EXP? Now, these are my two best questions, and I've used it on some of the best producers around, and I always get a very, very respectful answer. So here it is. You write this down. Would you be open to sitting down to learning more about EXP? That's it. That's your closer. That's your closing question right there. Would you be open to sitting down to learning more about the EXP model? Or have you actually sat down with someone to explore the model in full? Because I will tell you this, I was on the phone with a producer the other day, and I asked, hey, are you going to stick around with your current brokerage? And we know each other, so we were having a good conversation. And I said, well, listen, I just want to know. Now, I know this person. Would you be interested in sitting down to learn more about what EXP has to offer? Because if you haven't sat down with someone to hear what we have to offer, then there's no way possible that they could know what we're really about and how we actually function. So keep that in mind. Just because you're talking to somebody who's 5, 10, 15, 20, a big team, whatever, a small brokerage with 8, 10, 15 agents, remember this. You guys are the experts at EXP. They are not the experts. I have sent videos and emails and links and whatever to people. I get in front of them. I really didn't have a chance to open it, Kirk, but go ahead and tell me about it. But I was able to set the appointment, and I got that appointment. However, I was never able to, they never opened my emails. And, there's a lot of work that goes into that. So basically, I use the same email now. And we'll get into that and how you actually, set the appointment, how do you drip on potential agents. So keep that in mind. Another thing you want to ask, can you brand you? Because you guys know that EXP is very proud of the EXP brand. However, Glenn Sanford, and I've been knowing him since we came here, when Glenn would come through, he came through Louisiana, man. We were sitting there just, eating nachos and stuff and doing a social together when there was maybe 15 or 20 of us. And, you could bend his ear. And basically, this guy's never changed. He's never wavered off of what he wanted. It's an agent for the agents. It's a broker with the agents in mind. And he says it in any of his videos, and I certainly think you should go and take a look at the YouTube channel. We'll get into that a little later on too. But you really should go in and see what Glenn has really, this message that Glenn has delivered. He's never wavered from that. I've never seen him waver from that. From 690 agents to 6,500 agents, the plan is the same. Agents helping and collaborating to help one another. The agent being part of something big, part of the growth, and benefiting from the growth. not just the head of the snake, not just the broker in charge, not just a broker of record, not the owner of the franchise, but you and me as a shareholder benefiting from the growth of our company. Okay? Now, in saying that, from the can you brand you, we have the EXP Realty, or we have the Kirk Brown team powered by EXP Realty. EXP has certain rules that we have to follow. Yes, the state has certain rules. I highly recommend, if you don't know what that is, before you do anything, put anything in print, do a video that you get with Kathy and make sure you're compliant with that. However, the company is not so bent trying to make it EXP Realty is everything. They really want the agent to be successful and the agent to have an identity in the market. Okay? So that's a big deal, because that is not very common if you don't already know. Everything is usually about the broker or about the franchise. Okay? So let's go back through when is the right time to make the pitch. Okay? So you have to look for opportunities to network. An agent out of Baton Rouge called me the other day and said she had 3 people interested in enrolling, in coming over and listening to what we had to offer, and she was at a lender networking event. So I highly recommend those. After a successful closing is a good time to potentially set up either a lunch, a coffee or something, hand them a book, hand them something, and thank them for the great transaction, and allow the conversation to happen and use all those key points we talked about in opening up dialogue about EXP. Talk mostly in a private setting. Be respectful. Some of these people want to be incognito. I know people have come into the cloud campus and they've been with a broker for 15 years, and they don't want to pop in as Kirk Brown. They want to be Kirk Smith or John Smith, and they go into the cloud and they make their name something different, and they experienced EXP before they became EXP. And this person is a major broker and now with EXP. So it's pretty cool how that works. So again, try to find a private setting, be yourself, and think about the reasons why you made the switch. When they express some unhappiness about their current broker, ask for permission to send them some info and updates on EXP. So just as I recorded this, I got an email from another agent from our broker, from our local area, and he has somebody that's interested. And, he says, what do I do first? And I was like, hey, send this email. And I have it all canned, so it's a canned email that I have, and I just kind of personalize it. So I sent him all of those things. It took me 5 minutes because I just had it right at my fingertips. And then I said, send this one second. So you should have some type of plan on how you're going to go about this. This is probably the single most best thing you can do as an agent at EXP if you're interested in attracting other agents and if you're interested in revenue share, because it is an art, it is a sales pitch, you are an attractologist, right? You are trying to attract them to the company. So I would ask for permission to send them some info and updates, and that's exactly what I told him to do. Exactly like I just explained it to you was exactly what just happened. He asked me what email's going to send him because the agent asked for some information. So now he's going to drift. He's going to probably go 2 or 3 days, and then I told him he's got to make a phone call. Okay? So what do? So you don't want to, spit the EXP venom on them. We talked about that. And you don't want to scare them off. You want to appear to be professional because that's who we are. From the top down, we don't want ever, if we can, to be very professional. We don't ever want to seem like a shoddy or multi-level marketing company because that's not who we are. When you get paid is because of a transaction, not because of some pyramid deal. Okay? So get that out of your repertoire. That's not what this is about. This is also offering an opportunity for people who have been selling real estate, sometimes 15, 20, 25 years, that never, ever even thought there would be an opportunity for them to have retirement other than their own personal investments in real estate. But think about the opportunity that we have. It's an amazing thing. And I know people who are in their 70s right now saying, man, I only wish you guys were around a little bit earlier, but I'm 2 years from retiring. Hey, I respect that and understand. The technology's run them over pretty much, okay? So anyway, let's move forward. So again, don't scare them off. Give them small doses and then set the appointment, okay? Now, be relentless. You know, don't just lay down until they tell you no. And then after that, respectfully back off and do not spam them. So if it's okay for you to send information, I have recruited people this way, and they have come to the company. Might be one of them sitting in a room right now. And basically, I just walked him down the road, and basically he says, you know what, this is what I've been looking for. He's going in his 4th year, 5th year of real estate. So how do you set the appointment? So now you say, Kirk, you know, I've got I mean, this guy's ready for an appointment. So how do you do that, and how do you get the EXP Explain? So I would go to your sponsor if you're not comfortable doing that in the beginning. And if you have somebody you trust that attracted you to the company that you trust and that you go to, perfect. If not, then find somebody else. Again, listen, you know, even if I didn't sponsor you, and there's many people in here that I have not sponsored, I'm going to give you all I got, because let's think about it. We're all in this together, and the growth of this company depends on you and me, not just me and the people I have attracted in my rev share. It's about you and how you grow. You bring in $15, $20 million worth of transactions. This makes this a $3-4 billion company, or, you know, but it adds to the bottom line. And that's what this growth is all about. Now, that's not, you can't do that in other brokerages. That's just not the way they're set up. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that Glenn chose to set it up this way, and Jason and all of our upper level management that started this thing, and my buddy Brian Colhane, of course, that this is what they wanted. They wanted it to be the fact that it would be just, if you didn't hang your license with EXP, then it would be irresponsible. And that's exactly the way this company has started, and that's the way it is continuing. So, and I appreciate that so much, because the opportunity is unbelievable. So how do you set the appointment? Okay, so I have the appointment set. Now what? All right. Now remember what I told you. I told you my story in the beginning of how all that actually happened in chronological order, and how I was talking to Ricky. Now, your story started the day you mentioned that conversation to somebody saying, you know, I might be interested. I might be interested. I'm happy, but I'm not all the way happy. I'm open to a conversation. So, but your story comes from your heart. So be sure to share that. Now, you either share it before, or you're going to be sharing it during. And if I'm actually, story is unique to me. So it is the single most best weapon you have. Sharing that story is paramount. Passion is genuine. Passion is real. Passion comes from the heart. There is no way around it. So now that I have the appointment set, we're now going to go through an EXP Explain presentation, which pretty much all of you have been through. And basically, we're going to go through a slideshow that I have created through the PowerPoint. And I'm not going to go through it today, obviously, but you know, all of you have seen it. But you have to have your own PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to show you how to get there through your Google email or Gmail, and that way you can kind of tailor it to where you want it. Drop your own name in there, your phone number, whatever slides you want to use, because that's what people did for me, like Brian Colhane and Ricky showed me how to go and create my own. It's already there. All you got to do is drop your information in. So so basically telling your story and getting that appointment. So let's talk about social media agent attraction. But let me start out with one thing, and I just want to make sure that Again, I'm just an agent teaching agents, or agent up here talking about my experience. And just be real careful in what you say about the stock, because there's all kinds of rules and regulations and stuff. I mean, we are an SEC filed company, so just make sure you don't become a component of the company in that way. Let people figure it out on their own, but you can tell them we're publicly traded. You can give them the stock symbol, and they can do their own research. But I wouldn't be posting information on the stock, okay? I think I'd stay away from that. That's what I try to do right now. There's other ways of getting your point across, just to be safe. So let's be on the same page with that. Don't want anybody getting in trouble with that. So be careful about what you post. Make sure it's tasteful. Again, remember, this is your company. So let's make sure that we protect each other. Let's make sure that we're all proud of where we're at and what we're doing. And let's not get those phone calls about, somebody spamming me. And, I've gotten 10 emails from you guys. I get emails from brokers all the time. I've never even met these people. And, so all of a sudden, just because the EXP is sending emails or whatever, now it is spam because they're sending 100 at a time, and I don't recommend that. Do not spam people. Do not spam, because it is going to give people a bad taste. That is not who we are. This is about relationships and attracting quality agents. And we don't want to set the precedent in the beginning, okay, that it's okay to go and do that. So, and when somebody says stop, just stop, and just try to ask them if you can send them stuff to stay in touch. That's all. But when you go to post things, stuff like agent introductions, like when Robbie Bro and his team came over, I went and copied and shared it out. It adds validity to what we do. Robbie's a very large producer, has a very successful team, poked holes in our concept for 6 months. Tried to find something wrong with it. You can go watch his story on his page. He has it out there. But be tactful, be professional in what you're posting. Agent introduction, like I said, if somebody joins in Colorado and you're in Louisiana, you want to still post. It's still important to know that somebody in Colorado joined, simply because it adds more validity. It lets people know that we're a national brand. Okay. Early on, I had somebody ask me, how do you fight that? Man, EXP, it's like local and stuff. I mean, y'all haven't been around long. How are you going to list my house? And see, today we don't have that problem in Lafayette, but we still have it in a lot of markets because EXP is not doesn't have as much representation there yet, right? So it's important to be posting things that are happening across the country because it adds more validity to the company. So when you bring on a new agent, if you don't know how to do that, get with your sponsor and see if they can help you get the template. Very simple to find. Everything's on Workplace now, and it's an incredible platform to be working on. So when you do that, make sure, let's say if I bring you on, make sure when I share it with you, you want to tag that person on Facebook. We're talking about, you tag that person, make sure they share it on their Facebook. The reason we want to do that, because there are people sitting in that room right now listening to this presentation that are at our brokers locally in Lafayette and are saying that they saw a post from this agent and wanted to know why they joined. And so, look, there it is. The very first thing we talked about in those first talks about, why did you leave ABC Realty? And she told her story. That lady came in 2 or 3 days later. We spoke with her. She signed up on the spot. Okay? Today, she's a producer with us. So it happens every day. And all these things that I'm telling you are from real life experiences that we have actually come across. So it's important to do that. I know it's a minor thing. Oh, yeah, just share it and do whatever. It's not about that. It's about the dynamics of the information and how it's disseminated to people you don't even know are looking. So that's an important deal. So now, I did a transaction last month from a lady who found me on YouTube. Now, I don't have a lot of videos out there, but I did enough. I probably did more than 80% of the agents across America, but I would just do short 30-second deals. Well, And guess who owns YouTube, by the way? Google. So do you think that if YouTube is seeing me post and I become relevant, then where do you think in a search about EXP is, or a house or a realtor in the area I service is going to come up? Me. I asked her, I said, how did you find me? She goes, I saw a video first. I was like, really? She goes, yeah, you did an open house at a house you had listed. I said, where were you? She said, on YouTube. Now let's think about that. That house was $480,000, guys. I made $10,000 on that transaction. I put a lot of stock in my pocket that day. And that was very rewarding. So what I'm telling you is that, listen, YouTube channel for EXP agents is included. You get that at no cost. And I'm sure you can get a YouTube channel at no cost anyway, but at least it's tied to the bigger thing, the EXP Realty. So I highly recommend that, you know, from this point on, I would go and do a 20 or 30-second video why you joined EXP. Don't have to be professional. Don't have to go to the studio. Shoot it in front of a house. Shoot it at your kitchen table. But it's the content that matters. Okay? So shoot a video for 30 to 40 seconds. Let's flood YouTube with EXP people and teach the people you bring on and sponsor to do the same. This company will grow in ways that you will never imagine. We have to be relevant. You, for your personal business, have to be relevant. Not only that, you could drip on somebody who potentially has interest in EXP, send them your video and say, listen, I didn't get a chance to tell you this. Here's my story. That's it. There's a video running right now. We went to our conference, our ownership conference, in Bellingham, Washington 2 years ago, but not too long after I came on. Me, Ricky, and Kenneth went. And so basically we get out there, guess what they had? They hired a professional film crew to come out and do testimonials on the agents that were there. There wasn't 150, 200 people there. We only had 700 people in the company. So, but we went on there. So my video has been shown, I think, 400 or 500 times. But there's people in there that have 14,000 hits on that video. Now, I want you to think about that. Who watched it? It's the people she's trying to attract. And she is very, very successful at attracting agents. So that tells you something, that you're heading in the right direction. So I wanted to harp on that a little bit, guys, because video is king. We don't know it right now in the state of Louisiana. You know, people are scared of video. There's some people tap dancing around the fact that they can be good at video or not. And so the bottom line to it is that video is here, video is king, and video is staying. I mean, for God's sakes, you can go to a local grocery store and pick up a web camera for $20. $20. And put it on your dashboard and shoot a video. I mean, that's what a dash cam, right? So video's here to stay. It's better. Let's get forward now. Let's go forward a little bit. So basically, the slideshow that I'm showing on my screen right here, I want to show you when I got involved with EXP. And, you know, this has been a graduated platform, basically, in terms of stock. So, as you can see on the screen right here, you can look at the top and you'll see it, like agent count, number of shares for first transaction, number of shares to any agent or broker who caps, and then so forth. So, basically, I told you that I came in and was on the 700 agents. That is not even on the form right here, on the agent breakdown. It's not even on there. And what that tells you is that it was much higher than this. So the ground floor opportunity for me and for Ricky and for Kenneth and all the people that came in under 1,000, which is a lot, you know, which is quite a bit of people right here in Louisiana, at least 50, I would think, honestly got the best of the best because the stock was lower. We bought and we were able to buy more stock by hitting some of these milestones, okay? But I want to show you now. So when we talk about opportunity, and although the stock is higher in price right now, the opportunity is still as good as it was. And right here, we're at the $6,000 to $8,000 range, 6,000 to 8,000 agent range. So basically, you get 50, then 125, then 125. Well, when we were here, if you look at the very top one at 1,000, it was 100 shares, then 750, then 750. Now let's go back here, 50, 100, 100. Okay, you see the difference? So when we talk about ground floor opportunity, when we start talking to people when there's 12 to 16,000 agents, which is right around the corner, by the way, guys, that's either going to be at the end of this year or probably the end of the first quarter of 2019. We're going to be there. So then let's look and see how attractive this model is when you're looking at it from that standpoint. And now you are winning, okay? So rev share is there to stay. Awarded stock, as you can see the stocks, they change based on how many agents we bring in, okay? Not a big deal, but ground floor means ground floor to me. I was very, very fortunate that I ran into Kenneth and Ricky when I did, because, like I said, it was an outstanding opportunity, and I jumped. Not everybody jumped right away. No big deal. I did my research, and I made my decision. So remember this whenever you're telling your story, okay? This is part of it. But the company's not going away, and I'm telling you right now that it is just one heck of it's just a phenomenal opportunity for agents. When you got people like the #1 in the world from a certain brokerage that comes over, and his partner came over, and now teams are coming, and now brokers are coming, it makes me feel so good to know, because it solidifies my decision to have come to EXP. It solidifies that when I see big names coming. And I think it's, you know, it's very rewarding to that degree. So, but anyway, just kind of wanted to share some things. And I know that if you guys need to shoot me an email or anything like that, kirk.brown@exprealty.com. If you have further questions, I'd be glad to share whatever information I can for you. And I'm also going to implore you to take the plunge and do what I'm doing. Study the company, understand what you're getting, because, you know, if we have, you know, there's probably 100 or maybe 200 or maybe 300 more people just like me, so that are teaching these, and they're not brokers, you know, they're not regional development leaders. They are agents giving back. There's no money for this, but it makes me better, it makes me sharper, and keeps me in tune to what's happening new and what's on the horizon. So in saying that, I want to implore you also on Fridays to hit those leadership meetings at 10 a.m. Central Time, simply because the state of the company comes from the top leaders in our company, and you will be sharp and at the tip of your tongue. You will know what's going on with the company, and just gives you better information to disseminate to potential agents. So what you want to do, and I want to go over this real quick, but you see the opportunity there. So you can actually get this presentation, and the way you do that is you're going to open up your email, and you're going to go to slides. You see these 9 dots at the top. You're going to go to slides, and it's going to open up this. All right, so now make Google Slides, and there's a couple things you can do here. So you've got the drop down. I can hit Docs, Sheets, Slides, Setting, and my Drive, okay? But if you go here where it says Owned by Anyone, Owned by Me, Not Owned by Me, or Owned by Anyone, and that's what I have checked off now, right? So this is why you're seeing some different slideshows. Now, a lot of this is on the workplace now, but I click on Kirk EXP Explain, because this is mine. You can pick this one right here. This is an agent brochure. Let's see, copy of EXP Explain, new agent announcement. This is where you go and drop your friend's picture in that you bring over to the company. But I would click here. It opens up, and voila, there it is. So this is how we do our lunch and learns across the country. Not just me, but other agents that are doing these. And all you do is you just take this right here, and you take that picture, you double click on it. You're going to actually make a copy of all this, save it, and then go open it back up, and then it will be an editable form, right? So you just drop your picture in. You can write anything you want right here and whatever. So, and then I take a lot of stuff that's in from the national news, like the EXP Realty named 2017 top workplaces by the Washington Post for the second year in a row. Hey, this looks like a good slide to share on my Facebook page, right? And then share it out to your personal page, because this is pertinent. This is a subliminal message about EXP growing. This is a subliminal message about the opportunity, and that people are recognizing the fact that EXP has arrived, okay? And just recently we were voted, I think, in the top 15 workplaces by Glassdoor, okay, by Glassdoor. So that takes some effort. Also recently, Glenn, our COO and founder, has been voted, I think, in the top 50 brokers in the country, and we're proud to have that. So again, share the information, guys. It don't have to be about EXP's the best, we get the highest cuts, we got this, we got that. It's just subliminal messaging to people when they, and you'll be surprised sometimes. You'll be talking to someone, and I say, I don't know if you saw lately, but so-and-so, yeah, I saw that. I've been watching you on Facebook. You see, they never commented, never liked it, never shared it, because they're incognito and they're hiding behind their computer. But that's okay with me, because we're winning there. We're winning. So, but anyway, in closing, again, I wanted to thank you guys for listening and spending time with me for this hour. And again, if you have any questions or anything, Kirk.Brown, Kirk.Brown at exprealty.com. And if you guys need help sponsoring someone, I'll be glad to do that for you. Talk to your sponsor, talk to your broker, talk to whoever that might be that you go to, and let's get it done, because we're all in this together. This is your company, this is our company, and the growth is shared by everyone. So thanks for coming in, you guys. You'll have a fantastic 2018, and this is Captain Kirk. I'll be signing off and talking to y'all soon.